after at least 10 days away in on holiday in New York at the Woodstock Fruit Festival, which I'll talk more about in some other videos. Really fantastic time, by the way. Returning to the garden, having a little look at the trees and stuff like that. This is a really early morning. I don't know if you can see the sun the way it is. Sometimes you can't really capture the subtleties of the sun. But this is, I don't know, 7 o'clock in the morning. I'm going to go for a swim, or just lie in a swimming pool, whichever takes my fancy, I suppose. So this is Plum Tree, but basically I was away the worst week because the plums look how ripe they are. They're super, super ripe. They're super soft. So my family's been consuming these, and I don't know, probably visitors and the next door neighbour and who knows it, who knows, and maybe a few squirrels have got a few birds. But this is a plum tree. It was only planted a couple of years ago, and really quite a lot of fruit came off this. Quite a lot of fruit, and there's still some left, and some of them have been dried as well. Unfortunate with the timing. This to me is the Discovery apple tree. Sorry, I was going to say this to me is the thing of beauty here, but this is the Discovery apple tree. Discovery is the variety of apple, as you can see here. Extremely dwarf. A dwarf tree means the rootstock means that this will never grow into like a big tree. The rootstock determines how high the tree is going to grow and how big. And essentially every tree like so these two trees were purchased as trees. I didn't grow these trees from seed. And you shouldn't really try to grow fruit from seed. You should buy good trees that are going to produce good fruit, and go with that. Why? Because you're going to get a better success rate. You're going to get fruit a lot quicker. You're going to get varieties that you actually have some idea of what the fruit's actually going to taste like after years of allowing the tree to grow. Essentially what's happened here is you've had a rootstock which has then been grafted, which has then had this particular apple variety grafted. What that means is that this apple tree here is a clone, at least this section of it is a clone of the original Discovery apple tree, wherever that came from, and that's just been cloned and cloned and cloned. And a lot of people might not like that idea, but essentially all that means, when I say cloned, is all I mean is I would cut that off, or I would cut this off, and I would take this branch and I would take it to a root, and I would attach it onto the root, and then I would just kind of bandage it up together, and they'll fuse together, weirdly enough, if it's the same species of tree, of fruit. So, bit of information for you there, and most of that is 100% right, I think. Some of it might not be 100% right, but basically that's the idea. And yeah, so it looks great in the garden. It's going to produce, I mean, these apples are just flawless. I mean, look at these. There's barely a scratch on them. There's a few of them that have been damaged, and I don't know if it's squirrels or birds or anything. But look at these. I mean, if you were to plant strawberries, you have slugs all over them. If you plant lettuce and stuff like that, you have everything's trying to. These, no pesticides, no anything. Perfect. It might be the part of the world I'm in, I don't know. But there you go. Now here's my favourite way. Here's what I think everyone should be doing. Fruit fence. Fruitful fence. A fruit fence. What's the real name for it? It's got an official name, but my branding for it is a fruit fence or fruitful fence, fruiting fence, and essentially you could replace a lot of fences in the world, or not even replace them. You could just add this to it, which is just adding some fruit trees going along. It's probably not the best idea in some places because then people will come and take all the fruit and try and sell it and stuff like that. So unfortunately that's what people are like. But if there was just an abundance of it, then no one could sell it because there'd be so much free fruit around all the time. Now look how different these varieties are, and they're all right beside each other. Look how many apples there are there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And there's probably 30, 40 apples on that tree. But this is using a lot less space, really. And you've almost got half as much, and you're not putting up a full, you're not growing a full tree. This is a totally different colour, look at that. Totally different variety. I've actually got some of the variety names. This one is called an Allington Pippin. These are Scottish varieties. Pippin means it was grown from a pip. So when I was talking a minute ago, you shouldn't try and grow fruit trees from pips. That's going to be a waste of your time. But other people have done that over the hundreds or thousands of years that fruit trees have been farmed, and because they did that, they found good varieties. But the mathematics of it are very much not in your favour to find a good variety. But farmers and fruit growers did that. More varieties here, more varieties here. Every single one of these is a different variety, but they all come back to being the same thing, which is an apple. This one is not really growing so much apples. So look at all these different varieties, and that's the fun of it. It's like you're going to take these off the tree, you're going to have all sorts of different flavours. Now I imagine you can do this with any fruit. I imagine you can do this with any fruit. The reason that this is a cool way of doing it is because when you train it, so look, this has been, we've got, probably need to start maintaining this a little bit. For example, here it's been tied in certain places. It's been tied to create this angle effect, and when it's at an angle, supposedly it acts more like a branch. So instead of it growing a big stem and then growing branches off it, hello Mr. Blackbird in the morning, or is he a crow? Big blackbird or a small crow, I don't know. Totally lost my where I was going there. But yeah, no, it grows at an angle, so it grows like a branch. So instead of it trying to grow a big trunk and everything else, it's been trained to an angle, and therefore for some reason it activates itself to grow like a branch. So that's why we're doing it. But no pesticides, if you're concerned about that, if that's what you want, grow your own fruit. You could have, and if you think about it, this is, you could have, how many of these could you have going along here? I don't know how close you could have them together, but let's say you could have them like a foot apart. You could have, so that's maybe 8 trees, and you could probably have 8 or 10 along here. So you could put 80 apple trees or something crazy. You could have 80 different varieties in a pretty small space, and fantastic, amazing. I mean, how fun would that be? Really fun. You can probably do the same with plums, and where you are in different parts of the world, I'm sure you can research and maybe do these things, but this is a fruitful fence, and you could have every fence could have fruit trees and fruit in general trained along it. An easy idea to solve a lot of problems, increasing the amount of homegrown fruit and everything, and fruit without, if you want to increase the amount of fruit without any fertilizers or pesticides, there you go, brilliant way of doing it. If you want to increase the amount of fruit in your diet in general, here's a free way of doing it. Once you've bought the trees, it's free year after year. Small amount of land, instead of trying to build, growing big huge fruit trees, requires a bit of engineering and human. And I know that some people want to be a bit more natural lifestyle, throw the pips out and all of a sudden all these fruit trees grow. But you're just not going to get, you're not going to get that, and then 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 that. You're just not going to get that if you just throw pips out and stuff like that. Interact and get to know the fruit growers, the people that really know about growing fruit and fruit trees, and get the best trees for your area, your climate, your soil, and grow them. And even if you're not going to get the benefit of them, plant them, even for other people that are going to one day show up and get the benefit out of it. So the fruitful fence, I've showed this before, and this is a pear tree, by the way, just in case you were wondering why I wasn't speaking about that. We don't talk about the pear tree. We do not talk about the pear tree. We've just left the pear tree. Here's some tomatoes. Really need to have a conservatory to grow tomatoes as far north as I am. So anyway, hope that video is giving you a bit of information, inspiration. Go out and do it. It's easy. You just dig a hole and you put a fruit tree in it, and you buy a fruit tree at your local garden centre, or you go online and you purchase it, or you get it from a specialist fruit grower, and the fruit tastes good. It doesn't taste rubbish or anything, it tastes good. So, but you do need to know how to pick fruit and leave it until it's ripe. And some people are just cutting fruit off trees way too early, and then they go, oh, this is crab apples or something, and they don't realise that they just need to leave it another month or so. Subscribe to this channel, leave some comments below, let me know you're out there. Like the video if you liked it. If you want me to speak more about this stuff, I can. I'm happy to. I'm delighted to, because it is something I'm interested in myself. But look at all that. That's only a couple of years ago that was all put in. And how many apples is this now? I'll need to count them all. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 6, 7, 8, 9, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So there's at least 40 apples in this thing. And that's just after a couple of years. 40 full-blown apples. That's not bad. That's maybe a day's worth of apples. If you're just eating apples. And the other tree's got another, 30 or whatever. Maybe 20, 30. But these are all going to be, loaded with apples at some point, maybe in the next couple of years. So it's an investment of time. But there you go. Anyway, feel free to contact me about how to. I'm not an expert how to put these up, but I do want to. I did have a vision of kind of doing this in people's gardens at one point, maybe creating a kind of company to do this, and I would happily do this and get it going, because it's a brilliant thing to have in your garden, I think. Wonderful. Anyway, let's cut the video there while we're going strong. See you in the next video. Thanks for watching, and have a wonderful day wherever you are, and plant a fruit tree this year. Make that one of your goals. Thank you. Bye.